Now, I'll tell you one thing I did like about this character. I'll tell you this right now. Let me see if I can find a good example of what I'm talking about right here. Because my man, he's the Darth Vader of the film. You know, Darth Vader has his trademark force chokehold right there. My man here says, you know, I ain't that fancy. He got a big ass stick.
Got a big stick, a shillelagh.
He got a big ass stick, and if he pisses you off, or if you piss him off, he whoops up on that head.
I know.
And does it slow motion. Got that Zack Snyder slow motion. This goes Tiger Woods on that dome, man. And I said, you know what? That's kind of badass with that character.
I got a big stick.
Look at it right now, like
I
whoop
speak
your
softly,
ass.
but I carry a big stick. I got a bigger stick, and I use it too.
This whoops up on that head real quick, and then they don't hold back. No. Like if you're talking shit, I ain't even talking shit. If you're trying to reason, if you're trying to be nice, chance off, you pull that stick out, that's it.
That's it.
He's going golfing. That's all.
And your head is the ball.
Yeah. I like that about him, man.
No, I did too.
I like, yeah. You know, he gets raw with that stick. I love that, man. Double Toasted Live in Los Angeles is going to be Saturday, April 27th for a night of comedy games and that after party. Martin in a galaxy far, far away.
Stop that.
Why? He didn't. Zack Snyder didn't. Why should I? Zack Snyder came out and just straight up said, I'm ripping off Star Wars.
What's funny is the whole story is like, yeah, he pitched this to Lucas as a Star Wars movie, and Lucas turned it down. I was like, yeah, I would turn something down too if somebody rewrote my story and tried to sell it back to me.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, people, you know.
That's going to be a no.
But he straight up said, look, this is my Star Wars. And then he tried to sell it to Lucasfilm. I'm sure George Lucas said, you better be glad I'm not suing your ass. Get this guy out of here, man. Was this a joke?
Yeah, you guys set this up, didn't you?
Yeah. He gave me my script and just changed the name. Who was this goddamn Zack? Get him out of here. You directed what? You can direct towards the door. Get yeah, but Zack Snyder, he came in and said, and I was, look, I was on his side. He said, I'm doing my own Star Wars. And we said this before. I said, listen, Star Wars been up. So if you can do Star Wars better than Star Wars, then my man, you got my support on this. Let's see what you can do. And so that's exactly what he did. He pretty much just wrote his own version of Star Wars right here, which is, which again, ain't doing nothing but changing the names.
I don't know if you saw me text you during the screening.
Oh, but I was wondering what that was, man. I thought you would texted the wrong person.
No. I was texting you because the hype man who came out, he's like, I haven't seen this, but I've been waiting for this movie. And he was like, you see a lot of generic, sci-fi movies, but when you watch a Zack Snyder movie, you watching a Zack Snyder movie. And I was like, but that's damning with faint praise. It's like, you watching one of these movies, you watching a movie. Like, it's one of his movies. Like, you can say the same thing about Tommy Wiseau.
Yeah, exactly.
None of this is actual compliments.
Yeah, I remember we had a dude come out and he said exactly what Martin said. I was like, what kind of backhanded ass compliment is this? Yeah. Are you trolling us right now?
Except he was way into it, even though he hadn't seen it. He knew, I've been waiting for this one.
I said, so I'd give him this. He was hard to read. I couldn't tell if he was a Zack Snyder fan or a hater.
I couldn't at first, but the longer he talked, I was like, okay, he's a fan. He's a super fan, in fact.
Oh, yeah. And people, let us just say this, because we're about to talk about Rebel Moon. Before we get into this, let me just make this clear, because I don't want y'all up my ass when we do this, all right? Regardless of what we say about this movie, because shit, we could get this movie at full price and just say the wrong thing. We could give it the wrong full price. But why didn't y'all give it better than sex? You can't please some people out there, man.
I know.
So let me just put it out here, man. Regardless of what is said about this movie, Rebel Moon, I don't want y'all rebelling on us, because I'm going to let you know that Zack Snyder, we have nothing personal against Zack Snyder. I actually love some Zack Snyder movies, and some I don't. Hey, I'm one of those assholes out there that likes Justice League. And I know, and here I'll go give it a backhanded compliment. And I know that shit ain't good. So don't sit up here thinking that we are haters You
just because.
Yeah, just because it's Zack Snyder. Because Zack Snyder, damn, boy, people have put themselves a love or hate camp with him.
Man, I ain't loving, hating nobody, and I'm not indulging in hero worship. Even though I don't like a lot of his movies, I came into this like, hey, let's see this thing.
Yeah.
And I can look on Rotten Tomatoes and say, oh, 26%. What does that mean to me?
Yeah.
I have my own opinion.
Yeah, exactly. No, like I said, Justice League is cool now. Batman vs Superman, kiss my ass. You know? So I'm a lover and a hater. I'm a lover and a hater. You know. In other words, I think I'm fair. So let's just keep that in mind when we go in and talk about this movie, Rebel Moon here. And Rebel Moon, look, we're making fun of it for ripping off Star Wars, but like I said, Zack Snyder told us, he said, yeah, this is my Star Wars, all right? So what you have here, you have the far galaxy away. I'll change it around for him. Not galaxy far away, far galaxy away.
There you go.
You got some space farmers up there, dudes on another planet. Simple village of farmers out there. But the mother world,
the Empire.
The
mother world shows up.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, exactly. Come on, y'all. The mother world shows up and tells them, hey, look, listen, we want some grain from y'all, all right? And we want everything. And we're not going to ask again, because there was a time that we would ask nice. There's a time we would have been polite. But ever since they killed our king, our queen, our prince, and all that shit, nice got us in a bad place. Mm-hmm. So we ain't doing nice no more. Give us your shit. And if you don't, well, we're going to kill as many people as it takes. We're going to rape and pillage until the message is received. Don't let us have to come back to this shit. So they fly away, leaving. They don't ever fly away, leaving people pissed off, because now they're going to say, well, now we got to fight your ass.
Now we got no choice.
They got, the empire, the motherhood, whatever, they have no tactic at all about communicating with people. They have no democratic diplomacy, anything, man. Stupid. They say shit, but that's what happened. You dress like a space Nazi, you got to play the role, man.
Plus, if you hire Ed Screen, he's just going to be the bad guy.
Especially when you give him a bad haircut. Yeah. Got him looking like Mandark or whatever from
Dexter's Laboratory.
So you know he's going to be evil, man. So they lead these people to sit up there and be pissed off. Of course, they mobilize. They try to form an army, especially one girl who's not originally part of the village, but they welcomed her so much, and she has the skills to actually lead a fight. She tries to go out there and find some other people that can come back and help them form a little army and take on the mother world. Sounds familiar? Yeah, it's a lot of movies, not just Star Wars. How does it compare to these things? Well, let's go ahead and take a look at this trailer right here for the eagerly awaited Rebel Moon, which is probably on Netflix by the time you see this, and we'll be back with our reviews.
What about revenge? This isn't
Jason Momoa around here.
It's pursuit of revolution.
It's a new age for the universe.
Now, we've already talked about how much this is Star Wars. It's been admitted by Zack Snyder. And Zack Snyder admitted to trying to actually get this sold as a Star Wars movie, which, again, I'm sure Lucasfilm, which he went to, looked at this, and it probably didn't go down like we said before. They probably looked at it and said, this is cool, but you know what? Listen, if you're not just going to be inspired, but you're going to rip off Star Wars, make it good. Make it at least as good as what we do. I mean, don't rip it off and water this shit down, and then and make a copy of a copy of a copy. Like, in other words, make an inferior movie. It's what I think they did right here.
Well, it's just one of those where I don't know how much to say it's inferior, but it's like if you're going to do a lateral move that, like, hey, this happens in the same Star Wars universe. Well, pick a different story than we've already done.
Yeah, exactly. And listen, I say inferior, and I tell you why. And this, for the love of God, is not me hating on Zack Snyder. It is not. Listen to me, people. Listen, we saw the movie with a lot of Zack Snyder lovers out there.
Oh, yeah.
I talked to a guy afterwards, and he asked me, how I enjoyed the movie. And I looked at his eyes, and he was smiling and shit. And I was like, I said, man, I loved it. Said,
you ain't gonna kill me.
You ain't gonna choke me out in front of this theater right here. I don't know, man. It sucked. He was grinning and shit. Did you like it? And I even asked him. I said, "You a Snyder fan?" He's like, "Oh yeah. I'm all about that." Yeah. So all right. So yeah, I loved it, man.
Why? Okay.
But let me tell you why. So this has been making the news for for getting terrible reviews.
Yeah.
And I have not looked at the reviews, but I cannot help but hear like the Rotten Tomato score and whatnot. I mean, a friend of mine sent me an article about this before I even knew what was happening. So, you know, I'm going to tell you this right now. It's getting terrible reviews because people think it's terrible. I don't think it's terrible. I will tell you that right now.
you.
In fact, I think that there are some things in here that are pretty cool, man. But here's my problem with this. It is so derivative of so many other sci-fi and fantasy films
And anime.
in anime, you know, and like, you know, just to name a few, you see it, Dune, Seven Samurai, definitely, and of course, Star Wars. You know, and I'm gonna tell you something. There is nothing wrong with that. I mean, these are movies that are cannibalized off each other.
Yeah, Star Wars cannibalized off of Dune and Seven
Samurai. Yeah, you know, both these movies. And George Lucas has actually been open about that. So there's nothing wrong with that, except, you know, like I said, there are movies, not only are these movies better than this movie, and these are lofty goals to try to achieve anyway, to try to do the Seven Samurai or Star Wars. You know, even Star Wars can't do Star Wars again. But not only are these movies better, but there are so many other movies that are influenced by these movies that have also done it better.
Yes.
Why? And I'll tell you why they have all done it better is because there was one real big key element in there that made those movies succeed, even if they were paying homage to, being inspired by, or flat out ripping off those other films or doing remakes of them. Those other movies had something that this movie lacked, at least for me, very much, and that is good character development. I think that the characters here are, for one, they're either really good or they're very, very, very evil. You know, there's no real black and white in between there, which is okay. You know, a lot of fantasy films are like that. Or, here's my big problem, they're not characters at all.
No, because when they go around, you know, collecting the soldiers, you get the intro scene, which is usually an action scene.
Yeah.
It tells you about them. You're like, oh, okay, well, this person has kind of an interesting backstory. I wonder how they're going to play with everybody else. Well, don't worry about it because they don't get a moment of characterization after that.
There's so little below the surface to make them likable or relatable or something for you to emotionally attach yourself to. For me, it was not there. I never looked at these characters and said, oh, damn, man, they suck. He sucks, they suck, you know, she sucks. No, you know, I never said that about any of them. I just said, you know, they're not giving me enough of anything to feel anything for any of them.
Like if any of them got killed, you'd be like,
yeah,
okay, shrug.
Yeah, they're all characters that never gave me anything to root for, attach myself emotionally to, laugh at, bond with. I didn't get any of that from these characters here. You know, they're all characters. I tell you what the deal with these characters is. They're all characters that never develop past that quick description on a piece of paper. There's a summary of these characters, it's a character, and they never got back past that with them, man. You know, and when that happens, with these characters being that they're such a type, such an archetype, what happens is they play into their characters way too predictably. And I tell you, you know, and I tell you why. You know, looking at this because, for example, your girl here. Oh, where is she at? Your girl right here. Sophia Boutella, who plays Cora. You know, she's the quiet badass. You know, when shit goes down, you know that she'll reluctantly beat everyone's ass. I stress reluctantly because she's like, I see them about to rape a chick. Oh, I really don't want to do this. Here we go again. Leave. I was out of here. Here we go again. They pulling me back in. And you know she'll go in there and start whooping ass because why her code tells her to. That's about it. Your boy, Ed Screen in this. Oh, where you at, Ed?
Stop hiding, Ed.
Yeah, stop.
We see you.
Yeah, I know you in here. Come on out real quick. There he is. There you are, man. I see you. Ed Screen, when his evil ass steps on the scene, you know exactly how it's going to go down.
Well, when somebody dressed as a Nazi comes out as being polite and nice, you know they're about to do something super evil.
Oh, it's going to be worse. You'd rather come out goose-stepping and talking shit.
Yeah.
And slapping people. You know, it's just like, yeah, because you know if they nice, it's going to be bad, man. And listen, I'm going to tell you something. It's one thing to be a predictable character. It's one thing to be a predictable movie, but it's another when you are writing the scene 10 steps ahead of the movie. That's at the beginning of the movie. When he stepped down that plane, I was like, I got this shit already written out, man. I know exactly how this is going to go.
Yeah.
And again, sometimes there's a comfort in that. Sometimes there's fun in that. Maybe if the characters are more fun. Not so much for me here, man.
It's like somebody's going to die, and I know exactly who it is.
Exactly. Now, I'll tell you one thing I did like about this character. I'll tell you this right now. Let me see if I can find a good example of what I'm talking about right here. Because my man, he's the Darth Vader of the film. You know, Darth Vader has his trademark forced chokehold right there. My man here says, you know, I ain't that fancy. He got a big ass stick.
Got a big stick, a shillelagh.
He got a big ass stick, and if he pisses you off, or if you piss him off, he whoops up on that head.
I know.
And does it slow motion. Got that Zack Snyder slow motion. This goes Tiger Woods on that dome, man. And I said, you know what? That's kind of badass with that character.
I got a big stick.
Look at it right now, like, I'll
I
whoop
speak
your
softly,
ass.
but I carry a big stick. I got a bigger stick, and I use it too.
This whoops up on that head real quick, and then they don't hold back.
No.
Like if you're talking shit,
Yeah.
I ain't even talking shit. If you're trying to reason, if you're trying to be nice, chance off, you pull that stick out, that's it.
That's it.
He's going golfing. That's all.
And your head is the ball.
I like that about him, man.
No, I did too.
I like, yeah. You know, he gets raw with that stick. I love that, man.
It's raw.
Yeah. You big baby. I mean, and not like Zack Snyder got a little bit too much slow-mo in here for me, man. This movie could have been 30 minutes shorter if they quit all that slow motion, but
Man, that slow-mo is his thing. It was less slow-mo than most of his movies.
just because that's somebody's thing don't mean they gotta do it. Hell, shit, you know, it's probably a bad comparison, but you know, Cosby's thing was raping people.
No, stop. Come on.
I mean, that was his thing.
That's not even fair.
That was his
He
thing.
never did that in a movie.
He did his slow mo too. Dance, Dringo. Cosby and Zack Snyder slow motion.
No, I reject that comparison.
Now, the rest of the movie, as you said, Martin, plays out in sections. And what I mean by that is the way they introduce a lot of these other characters, they do it in sections where they go and pick them up. And, you know, it's a pattern on how they do it, man. You know, the rest of the movie plays out in these sections, and that's how we get our other characters. One character we have is I forgot the character's name, but he's a nature boy blacksmith.
Yeah.
Who talks to the animals and can fight real good.
And we're looking to hire some fighters to train and protect us against a force from the mother world.
Well, I do love to gamble.
Here we go.
Which means he's gonna lose. We all know how it's gonna work out. Of course, you know, like you said earlier, Martin, what they do is they challenge him to go out there and try to tame this damn Harry Potter Griffin. And the guy
Griffin. Yeah.
So they even rip it off Harry Potter right there. Y'all, man, this is another planet. Y'all couldn't think of another creature.
Don't forget, before this, they went to Mos Eisley and picked up a pilot.
No, I know. I mentioned that. But his whole thing, if you can go out there and train this damn rip-off creature from Harry Potter, then you can, then you free to go. Look, man, I don't like these white people up here either, okay? But,
work with me, and we can both get out of here.
damn redneck over here, man. Look, brother. Black to brown. We can do this, man. I like the way my man is speaking bird for us. See him? I ain't helping shit. But the rest of the team, as we were telling you, it follows a pattern here. Like we said, man. We have the rest of the characters we have. Let's see here. So I'll tell you about the nature boy. We have a cyborg samurai complete with 2 dual lightsabers, man. Again, I try to hide shit here. And a washed-up general played by Jimon Hansu. And see, the thing that they do here, and Martin already said this, is that you meet a character, you get told their name, they give us some exposition on their situation, then they get an action scene to show off their skills, and then when they're done with the action part, then they get fed a speech on why they should come out and help these farmers, and they don't even fight it. They're like, okay. And then they just do it, and once they're in, they barely show any personality. There's hardly any bonding or banter among the group. They're not characters anymore.
No, exactly. You've been plugged in. It's like you've been entered into the matrix, and yeah, that was something that bothered me. It was like their whole pitch to them to join. I was like, that's a weak ass pitch, and everybody went, yeah, sure. Especially when you get to one character who had people with him. It was like, all right, I'm going to join up with you. I was like, that doesn't make any sense.
No,
even when somebody else pointed out, it's like, why did he say yes? It was like, well, the movie needed him to, so.
Yeah, nah, man. Now, Martin, if I was messing with you, I would have said maybe they promised him a good meal from Factor, but I'm not going to do that, man. I'm just going to jump into the ad right here, let you know that I got two ads. That's why I didn't mess with you. That's why I didn't say anything. I said I'm just gonna give it up right now, man. Here's my hand.
Okay.
Take a look at it. But I do have to give a word to our sponsor right now, which is Factor, and that's America's #1 ready-to-eat meal delivery service. And they got you on every meal, breakfast, lunch, and that dinner out there with all these chef-prepared, dietitian-approved, made to eat meals straight to your door. Now, this is what I like about this right here. Unlike some of the other meal kits that I've told you about, this really is for busy people out there, and busy people who want to eat healthy. You know, that's hard to do. You know, you get busy, you eating fast food all the time.
Yeah, you don't have to make this. No, we've bought these before.
Oh, you have some of these? Yeah, you don't have to make these, people. This is delivered to your door. It's already, and by the way, we ain't talking about like some TV dinner. It's not frozen. But when you get it, it's nice, healthy, delicious meals that you can make in 2 minutes. You don't have to do anything else but heat and eat and get ready to dig in. And you can treat yourself to very high quality, delicious meals, especially over the holidays. And just like some of the meal kits out there that I've told you about, you know, this one again has so many varieties out there. So many different recipes, 35 plus chef crafted meals every week that support your healthy lifestyle. And as I said, Factor is just not for dinner. Factor, they come in an assortment of 55 plus add-ons to suit various preferences and taste out there, including variations on breakfast, lunch to go, grab and go snacks, and more. As I said, and this is really something that would suit my lifestyle. I'm actually going to be trying this out very soon, and I'm trying this out because
you'll like it.
Really? I mean, I'm looking forward to this. I mean, this is seriously, people. All salesmanship aside, this is really something that looks like it's appealing to me because I am trying to eat very healthy, and with my schedule, it's not easy at all. This looks like it is perfect for me. I will be trying this. You know, if I'm trying it, then you need to try it too. And unlike you, I ain't getting that deal like you about to get. I'm not getting this deal right here where you get 50% off your meal right here when you put in factormeals.com/toasted50. If you put that in and use the code toasted50, you'll get 50% off. So go ahead, give it a try. I think it's going to suit my lifestyle and my diet very well. I think it's going to do you well too. Again, that is Factor. Martin tried it. I'm going to try it. You got a ringing endorsement from him. And that is America's #1 ready-to-eat meal delivery service. I want to thank them for sponsoring this portion of the show. I want to thank all of you out there for your support. All right, where were we talking about this? So, as I was saying, you know, this movie for me is so derivative that it goes beyond homage to just straight up ripoff. And Martin, you were mentioning this a little while ago. So, and this is what I mean by inferior, man. Not that I'm trying to use words to like bring this movie down, but look, man, God damn it, ain't no way else to explain it. They go to a planet where they go into a bar to find the character of Kai, who's played by Charlie Hunnam. He's so much a Han Solo character that when they meet him, not only he's a ripoff of that character, but of the whole cantina scene in Star Wars.
I know.
And I'm telling y'all, man, beat by beat, you can figure out certain things in there where it plays out just like it does in Star Wars. And it ain't as, what the hell do you think?
Yeah.
It ain't as good. And I'm sorry, if you're gonna rip off Star Wars, I'm not even asking you to be better. Just be close.
Or do something different.
Do something, or just don't rip them off at all. Do something a little different. You know, back in the day, there were a bunch of movies like this, and they were in the 70s, and we all, in the 70s and 80s, and we all called them Star Wars ripoffs. This would have been one.
Yeah, exactly.
And it probably would have been one of the better ones.
It would have been one of the better ones because they're production-wise, the money's there. It looks good. There's some care that's taken with it.
Yeah.
It's just the movie overall is just one of those. It's funny because like the hype man comes out talking about how there's so many generic blockbusters, but when you watch a Zack Snyder movie, you know you're watching a Zack Snyder movie. And while this is a Zack Snyder movie, it's his most generic movie.
Yeah, you know, but people, I want to talk about some good things with this, but let me just get this out the way, because if you think we're nitpicking, and a lot of you do, I already know it, but I want you to do something. I want you to look at the formula that this movie, or the format that this movie follows. It's a movie where, and it's not just Star Wars or Seven Samurai, you know, there's some of the biggest movies that have done that, but there have been a lot of movies where you pick up characters along the way for a grand adventure, trying to reach one goal. Well, yeah, I was going to say that. You know, people, if you go look at movies like A Bug's Life, I mean, I'm talking about movies that, like, as far reach as you can get from something like The Seven Samurai that was influenced by the Seven Samurai. Why did Bug's Life work? You know, it's not one of my favorite Pixar movies, but those characters have character. You know, there are those movies that we just mentioned also, and then you just mentioned one right here.
We come to see the wonderful Wizard of Oz. Here he is, a wizard of a wizard, a wizard of Oz.
You know why that movie works so well? It's not just because of the music and the production, which definitely is iconic, but also each one of those characters has personality. And they bond, they banter, they have chemistry. The Wizard of Oz, you want to learn, you want to know what made this movie better? Take something like from The Wizard of Oz and apply it to that. You know, just it's a simple thing. Make your characters characters. Make those characters like bond with each other, love each other, and then you will feel like part of the group too.
Yeah.
I never felt like I was part of anything.
No.
In fact, I felt like, you know, I should be running shit because I had more personality than them. And the whole time I was thinking, I said, you know what? This would have been a great video game.
Yes.
And
Yes, it's funny because I thought about that one Star Wars video game where you had Darth Vader's assistant, his
protege.
His protege. Which one was that?
Force Unleashed.
Force Unleashed. Yeah. It made me think of that.
But this was going to be pitched as a video game. You know, Zack Snyder was going to pitch it as a movie or a video game before it got over to Netflix. And I thought that would have been perfect because, listen, we're at a point now where video games also have great characters and have great stories. But then again, you know, when your characters aren't that deep, you can still, you know, you're making your own narrative. So it's not that much of a distraction.
Sure. And there's gameplay.
Yeah, exactly. So I thought that this would have been a great video game because I look at it, and here, let me go ahead and say something positive about this. This is why I don't think it's terrible. You know, looking at this, man, I love the look of this movie. I think his vision and his imagery is amazing. I really do.
I agree.
I love the way the machines work in this. And also, let me just say something. Ray Fisher is really good in this. I'm glad he brought Ray Fisher in. Ray Fisher's been getting a raw deal from DC for a long time. I'm glad Zack Snyder's looking out for him. He's not much of a character either, but he does have more passion than some of the other characters. And I thought he was good in the movie. But, you know, his vision in this movie, man, the way machines work feels like it's alien to this world and it's cool. The alien designs, I always say, man, a lot of these movies are really, for me, it comes down to how they design their aliens. I thought he could have pushed it a little bit more, but I like the weirdness of some of the characters. I said, man, it would have been great had you got weirded with this and really set yourself apart. But still, I thought the alien designs were pretty inspired here. People criticized his muted palette a lot. And I don't know what's going on with this movie, but I'm going to tell you, I think it added to the otherworldly look of the film.
I liked it here.
Yeah.
It gives a consistent tone to everything.
Yeah, no, I didn't mind it at all. I actually kind of liked that. But that's the thing. His priority seems to be on world building over character building or character development. I'm going to give you my take on this, man. I think that he could visually take Star Wars in a different direction. Like what this movie's doing is definitely the tone I think Star Wars should be doing because Disney, You know, with the exceptions like Andor and Rogue One, you know, Star Wars has been lighthearted with nostalgia. It's really been bringing it down. I think Zack Snyder had the right idea. I think that if I don't think he should write the script. I think he has the right tone, a darker feel. I think he has a great look that would be applied to Star Wars to make it something different. I think if somebody gave him a good script with good characters, take out some of that slow-mo, just personal thing with me, and we might have the right mix of what is needed to make Star Wars. I'm all behind him actually making a Star Wars movie, just not with his script, you know. Or if I'm gonna tell you this, man, if he had actually bumped up his characters a little bit more, I would have thought this was better. I would have been cool with this.
It's so on the verge, which is probably the most frustrating thing about it. Because I personally think, like, to see it have 26% on Rotten Tomatoes, I was like, this is you guys bandwagoning again. The people who just want to hate him. I think that's unfair. I don't think it's a 26% movie.
Well, I tell you what's wrong with that. It's because, and this is the system of either, you know, being 50-50 on something. Because a lot of people are not saying that it's terrible. A lot of people are just saying, well, it's just not that great. You know, I like it, but it's not, but they still give it like a splat. It's a splat. So it's kind of like 26% doesn't always come from people who are hating. Right.
You know? But you know, the average person just looks on there and they go like, well, that's the score it got, so I'm not going to see it. And I think it's much better than that. I found myself, I didn't even dislike it so much. I just didn't cross over into liking it. It just, what doesn't work is that it's just so familiar that it doesn't really offer you anything. It's Star Wars, Seven Samurai, Dune, probably Ghost in the Shell, just so many different anime things. Like there's never a time you're into it with something where you aren't comparing it to something else. Man, if this just could have had just an original bone in its body, this could have been something. To me, I felt like by the time this was done, I felt like it felt more like a pilot for a series.
Yeah, and you know, I can see that.
I mean, to the point where it kind of ends and then goes like, oh, wait, hold on, whoa. Now, here's the epilogue that shows you why we need a second movie. And when it does that, I'm like, don't really need that second movie. No. I'm kind of done here unless you're going to do a series.
And that's another thing. Stop making, because now I hear people talking about, well, you know, the character's going to be in the 4-hour cut. I ain't got time for that shit.
No.
Why can't you just make a 2-hour movie and be done and give us everything we need in there instead of cutting out, you know, 2 hours of stuff that we have to have in order to expand the story to make it make sense and give it more character. I don't need that shit. I ain't got time for that. Stop doing that. You know, I'm sure the Zack Snyder lovers would love that, but I don't think it's, even taking myself out of it, like, oh, my time is valuable. I just don't think you need to always do that to tell a story. No. I would say, you know, you're right. This feels like a draft. It feels like a rough draft before they actually go in and start fleshing out things, which is too bad. Because, like I said, I think the visuals show promise. I just don't like the characters in it. That's all. And you know, give me anything. If you're gonna have a character-driven story and no characters to really drive it, then it's nothing I really want to go back to. I'll go back. You know, I'm gonna watch the second movie when it comes out, of course. But yeah, I don't.
But you know, it's not gonna have any surprises for you. Like from where this leaves off, you could write that second movie.
Exactly. Like we were writing this movie as we were watching it. So, you know, I wish I really could go higher. Like with Aquaman 2, I gave that a high rental because I did think it was fun. I was positive about it. I'm not positive or negative about this when you really get down to it. So it's just a rental. I'm glad I saw it. And if I saw it at home, I really would not feel like I wasted my time.
Yeah.
But it's nothing. When I see something like this, I should leave with some enthusiasm. You know, I should, especially if you're making a second one. You already announced it before the first one's out. I should be ready to return to that world. I'm just like, well, I'll go back, but only because I have to.
Shrug.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
It's a rental.
I hate that we have a show where we both agree so much and give everything the same rating. But I'm the same way. It was one where I didn't think it was painful, but at the same time, it was one where I was like, if we don't review this movie this week, I won't remember it because it just blends into so many things I've seen before. And I think it will be enjoyable to anybody young who hasn't seen all the movies that it rips off.
That's true.
So to those new eyes, watch it, enjoy it, have a great time. But for somebody who's seen all that stuff, you're like, well, what's the next thing you got going? But yeah, it's just a regular rental.
Yeah. And listen, Not that you should do this, but maybe in that second movie, maybe that's where all these characters will start to do some shit. You know, do something.
But
I
that
hope.
usually doesn't happen in the second movie.
Man, come on, man.
The first movie is where you really set these characters up.
Yeah, let me have a new hope.
Okay.
I mean, we're gonna rip off Star Wars. Let me have a new hope, man. So let's just go ahead and rip off everything.